Hi, this is A. Wishley. That ain't even tested like a TI is. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. By me being sick for the last week and a half with this eye infection, I kind of got behind on my Real Housewives of Potomac reviews. So I'm just going to start off with 5. And then in my next video, I'll probably do 6 and 7. But anyway, uh, um, season 7, episode 5 started. The title of the thing was called "Burning and Beefing." It started off. It started off with Ashley going to Candiace's house to have lunch, and her and Candiace was talking, and then Candiace had asked Ashley how was she doing, because she said she had heard what had went on and what happened about her marriage being leaked over the internet and stuff. And Ashley said she was okay, but she just didn't want Michael to be upset with her because they were supposed to come out with a joint statement, and she was saying by it being leaked, and she don't know who leaked it. So that's why she was so concerned, and she was saying, "Yeah, that's why I was concerned and happy about you." And she said, "What about the?" And Candace said, "What about the arrangements that you and Michael having?" She said, "Well, like I said, we still living under the same house. We just can't be in the same room together, and we can't sleep together with that." And she was saying, "Oh, that." She said, "Oh, that was." She said, "Well, Ashley, have you ever thought about or think about dating somebody else or doing?" She said, "Well, no, not right now. Right now, I'm just trying to take things easy. But I wouldn't mind dating somebody else. But right now, I'm just trying to take things slow." And then Candace said, "Well, you deserve to be happy. And if you want to go out and date somebody, you can." And she said, "Yeah, but I just want to take my time." And then they got to talking, and then she said, "Yeah, did you hear about Karen?" And Candace said, What about Karen?" And then Ashley said, "Yeah, what about Karen?" She said, "Well, I heard Karen had been." Candace said, "I heard Karen had been sneaking around out and going out to dinner and lunch with somebody else that wasn't Ray." She said, "What wasn't Ray?" She said, "That's what I heard." She said, "Oh, that's what you heard?" And then she said, "Yeah, that's what I heard." And she said, "Ooh, Karen like that, Karen like that." And then Candace asked her. She said, "Yeah, I'll be watching your TikToks and stuff." She said, "I saw you at a restaurant with this guy. What were you doing?" She said, "Oh no, we kind of met through the internet, and we just kind of went out and had dinner and stuff like that." And then Candace said, "That's all y'all had? Ashley was dinner?" And Ashley said, "Well," and then she got to bust out laughing, and she rolled on the floor a little bit, and then she got Kiki in, and then she got back up, and then Candace looked at her and said, "Well, you practically a single woman now. You can do whatever you want to." And then after that, switched to the next scene, and the next scene was with Karen, and was with Karen and Wendy. Karen was at the flower picking thing, and she was asking the lady about the certain different type of flowers that they were doing. She said, "Oh yeah, there's nice flowers over here," and Karen was saying that it was cold, and that's why she had brought a jacket. And then Wendy showed up, and Wendy said, "Oh yeah, it was real cold out there." She said, "I'm glad I did wear my jacket." And she was saying, "Yeah." She said, "How are you doing, Wendy?" And she said, "I'm doing okay." She said, "Yeah, I was so surprised." Karen said that, "Yeah, I was so surprised that when I was at the family fun day, that you or your kids were not there." And she said, and Wendy said, "Karen, I wouldn't." She said it was very nice of Candiace to want to bring my kids, because she said that Robert told her that she could be an aunt and bring my kids. And she said, "Karen, I'm a mother. Would you send, even though Candiace was nice enough to be the aunt and stuff, would you send your kids with somebody else to somebody else's thing to watch them?" Karen said, "No, I wouldn't." She said, "Why would Robin want you to do that?" She said, "No, Robin wouldn't send her kids to nobody, send her kids with nobody strange either. Wendy, you were right for that, but that's why I was wondering what was going on." And then Wendy said, "Karen, I know me and Robin don't get along, but she shouldn't involve the kids. And then Karen said no, she shouldn't have involved the kids. Your kids should have been able to come just like the rest of the kids. And she was saying, well, how are we going to fix this, Wendy? How are we going to fix this? Wendy said, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And then Ashley walked up and Ashley said, "What's going on?" And they said, "Ooh, it's real cold. We were just talking about we were just talking about and discussing the family fun day and what was going on and why Wendy wasn't there with her kids." And then so Ashley chimed in and said, "Well, I didn't like that either. That Wendy wasn't there, but Candiace did offer." She said, "I'm glad Candiace did offer." But Ashley, would you send your kids somewhere without somebody?" Ashley said, "Oh no, my kids have to be with me all the time. Let me stop." Wendy said to Karen that that maybe because Karen was asked, "How do we fix this? How do we fix this?" And then Wendy said, "Well, Karen, maybe we can fix it when I invite the girls to my Burn event, to my Burn party." And she said, "Oh yeah, you're gonna invite the girls?" She said, "Well, yeah, I'm gonna invite all the girls, including Robin and Giselle." And she said, "Well, how are you gonna invite them?" She said, "Well, I'm gonna invite them through a text." And then that's when Ashley chimed in and said, "Well, you have to be careful with your words in your text. Wendy, you have to be careful with your words." And they were still picking the flowers and stuff. And Ashley was complaining about she was so cold, and she was asking one of the attendees could she get a blanket, and they finally gave Ashley a blanket. And then after that, Wendy said, "Well, Ashley, she said, Ashley, I'm gonna word this right, but they better be glad I'm just sending them email in the first place." And they all started to laugh and they started to kiki in, and then it switched to the next scene. And the next scene is when Maya was talking to G. They was having some kind of lunch at the house, and the little girl was asking her daughter was asking her, said, "Do they want to play a game? They want to play a game." And Mia said, "Well, what kind of game you want to play?" And she said, "We want to play some kind of lookout game or something game." And then Mia said, "Well, yeah, we'll play the game. We'll play the game after lunch." She said, "You sure, Mom?" She said, "Yeah, we'll play it after dinner, after lunch." So that's when they said that. And then and then and then that's when Mia explained that she had met G. She told G that she had told G that she was tired from the soft opening of one of their chiropractor places, and she said she hope they don't have another one real soon. And he said, but he said, but it was a success. It was good. The soft opening. She said, yeah, it was good, but it was a lot of work too. She said, I need a vacation. And then G said, what do you think about going on vacation? She said, I'm thinking about going down to Miami for a couple of days. I need to go down to Miami. He said, oh, you going down to Miami? She said, yeah. She said, I'm thinking about taking the girls down there with me to Miami. They probably need a trip or want to go on a trip too. And she said, yeah, that's how we met, G. We met in Miami. And then Mia started going back and saying that she met G in Miami at some kind of nightclub. They had some kind of nightclub or at some kind of party or whatever. And she was saying that G told her when they met at the nightclub or party that he was not married, but she later found out that he was married. And she said her and Jacqueline was down there too, and they was just having themselves a good time. But she did say that she did her and G did do the stuff stuff later on. She said that her and G did have some kind of relationship, even though she knew he was married. And then after that, let me pause it for a minute. I need some water. I'm back. Let's switch to the next scene. The next scene was Candiace and Chris in their house sitting down talking. They were talking about the situation and stuff like that that went on with Giselle and Ashley and all that stuff. And then her sister walked in and she said, "Ooh, I'm tired." And she said, "Oh, you tired? You tired?" She said, "Yeah, I'm tired from the wine tasting that I did." Candice said her sister is living with her temporarily until until they finished building her house. She said her and her mother found a house for her sister. So until they get through building the house, she's staying with Candiace temporarily. But back to the show. And so Candiace said, you real tired? She said, yeah, I'm tired for the wine tasting. She said, I hope we don't do another wine tasting soon. And then Candiace said, well, I'm doing some new music. She said, oh, that's good, Candiace. You got out a new song? She said, yeah, I got out a new song. And it's going to be featuring Trina called Insecure. She said, oh, you're going to be doing a song with Trina? Trina? Who is Trina? She said, you don't know who Trina is? Trina, the rock star, the rapper from back in the day. She said, oh, that's good, that's good. She said, well, how did you get that feature? And she said, well, Trina's team reached out to me and said that Trina wanted to do something with me. And I was just so happy that Trina wanted to hop on my track with me, Insecure. I'm happy about that. And then Candiace's sister said, yeah, I'm happy about that too. And then Candiace, while she was talking to her sister, she got a message and said, ooh, I got a text message on my phone from Wendy. She invited me to one of her burn parties. What's a burn party? Candiace's sister was saying, she said, I don't know what a burn party is. She said, and then in her confession, she said, with all these heifers going around, all of them need to burn something. They probably gonna burn the house down. And then after that, they switched to the next scene. And the next scene where all the ladies were getting ready to go to the burn session. Wendy was get at her house packing her stuff. They showed Candiace at her house packing her stuff, getting ready to go in the van. And then they showed Ashley looking for stuff, and Ashley was in the van, so they all got in the van. And they rode in the. I think it was Giselle. I think it was Giselle and Robin rode in the car by themselves. And I think Ashley and Wendy and Karen rode in the car, and then Candiace came by herself, and Karen came by herself. And so Karen was getting out the car with Ray, and so Ray helped her down the steps, and then he went on left. And then they all got to the house and said, ooh, this is nice, Wendy. Who's nice, Wendy? They all like to be accommodations and everything and stuff. And so Wendy had them to sit down at the table. She had all the girls to sit down at the table, and she said, "What it is? This is the first part of the burn session." And then they got they all sitting down at the table, and she had like a little candle. She had like a little candle lit, and then she had some paper in her hand, like a notebook or whatever. And then Candiace asked, she said, what is a burn session, Wendy? What are you getting us into? And Wendy said, well, a burn session is like this. Is that any problem that you have with a person, you address that problem, then you acknowledge that problem, and then you move on. Once you move on, that means you burn the problem away because you moved on and you talked about it. And she said, well, I'm going to start with me first, Wendy said. And they were saying, well, she said, ladies, do any of the ladies have a problem with me? Let me know. And so that's when Robin chimed in and said, well, Wendy, you're a little standoffish. You ignore people on certain things, and you don't like to take accountability for the things that you say and do. And then Wendy said, well, I will accept that. See, I will accept that sometimes I might seem a little uppity to y'all, or a little standoffish, or a little y'all think that I'm trying to be superior than y'all. She said, I'm not trying to be that way, and if I come off that way, I'm sorry, but that's not me. I don't mean to be that way. And she said, I do take accountability. I do take accountability for the stuff that I say and do. And then Robin said, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You were one of the ones that said that Mia was faking about her cancer scare and stuff like that. She said, no, I didn't say nothing like that. And then she said, well, I'm finna burn the candle. We finna move on. And then Wendy said, any other ladies have a problem with me? That Karen said, oh no, I don't have no problem with you. Giselle said, I'm not participating. And then Robin had said what she said. And so she said, okay, well, since nobody else have no problem, well, we could just move on. And then Giselle said, well, Robin, and well, Giselle said, well, Ashley, don't you have a problem? Don't you want to say something? And then she said, don't you want to say something to Candiace? And Candiace said, well, what's going on? She said, because first me and Ashley was okay, but I don't know where it went wrong. And then Ashley was saying, well, Candiace, what it is, Chris has slid into my DMs at 2 o'clock in the morning, and to me, I felt some kind of way, and I thought it was inappropriate and stuff, and stuff like that. And so and then Mia said, well, he was looking at me at Karen's spring fling party. He was looking at me, but it wasn't nothing inappropriate or scary. I didn't think he would do nothing to me. I was just wondering why he was looking and staring at me. And then Candiace say, Ashley, if you had a problem with Chris coming in your DMs, why come you didn't address Chris? Why come you didn't tell me earlier? Candiace said, you was at my house earlier today. Why come you didn't address that earlier with me? Why come you want to bring this to the group? She said, well, I didn't feel, she said, you didn't feel it was the right proper time. That was the proper time. You could have talked to me at my house and stuff like that. And then so she said, and then Candiace said, Ashley, when stuff was happening around Michael and stuff, I came to you privately, and Shady Production showed the background scenes of where she was showing her the text about what Michael was doing, and she said, I would expect you to do the same for me and stuff, and have this conversation privately, not in front of the group. And then she said, well, she said, I felt that this was the right time to do it. She said, no, this is not the right time to do it. She said, you lying, Ashley, you lying. She said, Ashley, you just a liar, and you are a snake, and you just making up stuff. You just making up stuff. You a liar, you a liar. She said, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. They started going back and forth, and then the show ended. Ashley was lying, and then, and stuff like that. I'm going to do a separate video where I do housewife topics, where I talk about the fallout, after this, because they had this stuff going on, I think, for the first 4 episodes. But anyway, this is A. Weston. That ain't who tells it like a T.I. is. I am out.